In the last 7 days, I was able to sign 5 high-ticket clients for my agency. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I made that happen. I'm going to talk about where these clients actually come from and what I did to secure these sales. And so just for some context, we are a B2B lead generation agency. We work with agencies, coaches, consultants, anyone who really has an online service to generate them more appointments. And so these clients are quite high ticket. We're talking, at least $2,000 lifetime value for each of these, if not a little bit higher. So this in revenue alone, just for these new clients, is at least $10,000 to $15,000, maybe even quite a bit more. So going through this list, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that I have a long history of what I call no's behind me. And this means that I have an ever increasing chance of getting to a yes. So I must have done over 1,000 sales calls right now. And I have a long history of people who of course said no to me, right? More people say no than they say yes. And for every single person that says no, there can be, objections sometimes, like I don't have the money, or maybe it's just not the right time or something like that. And of course you can follow up with these people, but after a certain time, the sale's not happening. And so you just kind of let it go. And what seems to be happening is over the course of the last few months, more and more and more, I'm getting people who are coming back to me weeks and months later to tell me that they're ready to go ahead now. Maybe the problem that they were dealing with has just got, just that little bit more painful, or maybe they've managed to get the money together, or maybe they just think that now is the right time. But I have this long history of, hundreds of people who have said no to me, who have that chance of saying yes. And so in the last week, 2 clients come back to me, or 2 new clients come back to me saying that, they're ready to go ahead and this is something they're looking to do. And so this really works obviously after a long amount of time, but it just means that you just need to keep going, because if you have a 1% chance of this client who said no to you coming back, for every 100 clients or every 100 calls that you take that say no, then you're basically guaranteed a client, right? If that's your metrics. I think honestly, it's a little bit higher. It's probably between 3 and 4, 5%, maybe something like that. And so what you tend to find is that after a while, when you've done quite a lot of sales calls, it's almost like the compounding interest of that actually, building up with the hundreds of sales calls you've done, just means that you're going to land more clients in the future, and those guys will come back to you, and if they ever do see something of your, your content maybe, or maybe they just, hear about you or something like that, and they've had a call with you and maybe they were on the fence before, it just takes that little bit more of information, or just that tiny bit of value to actually put them over the edge and then message you and they're ready to come on board. And the next thing that I've been doing is just basically going all in on sales, just sales. There's been times throughout my business where, things have been not going too well with, maybe a team member that I had, or I've had to rehire someone, and I've got to focus a lot of my time on something else. But if I ever slowed down the sales machine, if I turned off sales calls, if I said I'm not doing sales calls for this week because I've got to focus on this, then that revenue hit is just going to compound, because not only am I not now obviously signing new clients, but then the next week that goes by, I'm now losing this chunk of no's that I had before. And so I'm now just having this compounding effect actually work against me. And so my sales are going to be compounding down rather than compounding up. And so you should never, ever, ever turn off the sales machine. We do, a pretty decent amount of sales calls every single week, and we're always trying to increase that. We're always trying to get more sales through the doors, because this is really the number one thing that matters. There's nothing worse than actually having no sales come through, no clients, right? Because that's the worst situation to be in, because you're just waiting. You're just doing your outreach and then you're just waiting. There's nothing for you to do. But if you're in a situation where you close a lot of clients and you have a lot of work to do, you can always outsource it. You can always put a few more hours in. You can always just get stuff done. Whereas if you're on the other side of the fence and, sales just aren't coming in, then there is nothing you can do. You are basically just waiting around, and even if it feels like other things should take priority, like hiring someone, or maybe just delivering on the service and figuring out what you're going to do next, never, ever, ever cut out time of your day to stop sales. Maybe you can drop a couple of sales calls. If you do 5 a day, you go down to 4 or 3, something like that, so you get an extra hour, but you should never turn the machine off, just simply because of that negative compounding effect. And then the third thing, all of my sales comes from the fact that I have extreme confidence in my service. It probably comes across when you watch these YouTube videos, but I know that my service works incredibly well. We have some really, really, really fantastic case studies. And I know, for example, that if I get someone on a call and they're a good fit for what we do, then I'm going to let them know that they're a very good fit for what they do. And I'm going to tell them, look, John, if you come on board, there is no way we don't get you this amount of appointments. I just can't see it happening. It's never happened before. The niche you're in, the service you have, all of these things line up, makes you a perfect fit for what we do. And this comes across. And when you just have this unwavering confidence and it's not really something I have to think about, it's just something that I have when I talk about my service and people can sense that, then sales just becomes so easy. Signing clients becomes, like the easiest thing in the world. And it really just is a case of making sure you actually have something to sell, which obviously is good. You don't want to be able to sell a service which isn't good, because then the confidence that you're going to generate from that is firstly going to be fake. But then just actually showing that and just having that bit of confidence firstly in yourself so that you can come across confidence on a sales call. And the fourth thing is having a no-brainer offer. And what I mean by this is a lot of people will focus on having some kind of offer, where they say like, oh, we do this and we do that and we do the other. No, your offer should come down to basically reversing the risk that your prospect and your client has. I strongly believe that a lot of agencies should work on a performance basis, even right up until the point where, they are making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. And the reason for this is because if you are working on a performance basis and your product is good, you can actually raise your prices so that basically your clients are paying you a little bit more because it's on a performance basis. And it means that sales are actually easier. So you have, again, this double compounding effect where sales are actually easier now because someone doesn't have to pay this money up front, because obviously they can, pay a small setup fee or something like that. And then all the money that they pay you is just on a performance basis. So it lowers the risk for them. And also the fact that if you're really good at your service and you know what you're doing, you can charge, let's say, for example, if you were getting, 10 appointments for your clients, right? And you were going to charge them $1,000. Okay, if you charge $120 per appointment, that's going to look so more attractive than if you say to someone, okay, pay me $1,000 right now and I guarantee I'll get you 10, because they don't know too much about you just yet, right? And they probably don't have all that much confidence in you. But if you can turn around and say, look, we do it on a performance basis, I know it's going to work, so we can do this, and it's actually going to cost you a little bit more money, maybe that could incentivize the retainer, to be honest with you, if you frame it in that way and you just come out and say, like, these are the costs, like, which one would you prefer? But if you just come out with a performance basis straight away and say, we work on a pay per appointment basis, we work on a pay per lead basis, whatever it may be, then you're going to make a little bit more money as long as your service is actually good, And all of this hinges on the fact that you actually know what you're doing in terms of your service. You can deliver results for your clients, because if you can't, then it doesn't really matter if you sign 5 clients, because they're all going to probably charge you back. They're all going to ask for a refund. Or if you're on a performance basis, you're just not going to get paid by your clients because they are not going to be getting any leads or appointments. And so the fifth thing that I want to talk about is the fact that I have a pretty decent online presence, right? When you are on a call with a prospect, right, and, someone asks you quite often, I don't really know who you are. Why would I give you this money? Why would I agree to this? Let's have a follow-up, or let me just think about it. Something like that. They'll give you the smoke screen, right? They are doing this because they think that you're just a person behind the screen, right? You could just run away with their money. But if you show them and you tell them that you have an online presence, and I often do this so many times to my prospects, where I would just send them my YouTube channel and say, hey, look, I've created like over 100 YouTube videos. I have like almost 1,000 subscribers. I get like somewhat decent views for my niche. And so I'm very, very public. Like if there was something going wrong, everyone would know about it and it would kind of ruin my brand, right? The fact that I'm very, very public and I'm out there and, I have this ability or inability to shy away from any criticism that I get means that I'm probably not going to be screwing you over, right? I'm probably going to be someone who's actually trustworthy. And so just having that online presence and just putting your face out there, putting your name out there, and just being like completely unashamed about who you are and what you do, this gives people an awful lot of confidence. And what you'll notice is that a significant portion of these are all just focusing on actually giving your client the confidence and letting them actually trust you, right? Having that no-brainer offer just means that the risk for the client is really, really low, so they're going to trust you. Having that online presence, again, just proves to the client that you are who you are, and again, that just proves that their risk is going to be even lower. And having extreme confidence gives them the confidence, because they have to share your emotions if you're just so incredibly confident about it. And so all of this really just comes down to making sure that you actually put your all into this and you are just super, super confident, and you can transfer that confidence into the clients. Because let's face it, everyone has a pretty decent offer, right? A lot of people can say, we give you this or you get a refund. But the reason why they don't work is because people don't trust you. It's because people don't think they're going to get that refund. People don't think that they're dealing with someone who is reputable, right? So if you can create that, if you can make people think that you are reputable and trustworthy, then you're going to get the sale, because people are going to start to believe your offer. And if your offer's a bit of a no-brainer, people trust you, then they're going to buy. So that's how I signed 5 clients in the last week. If you're looking for someone to get you clients on a done for you basis, so no course, no I'll tell you what to do, we literally just go and do it for you, then click the first link in the description. It's just a video of me explaining what my company does, how we've done this many times before. But yeah, you don't have to click it, of course. I don't really care if you do, but it's there if you need it. But yeah, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.